Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So I wanted to start this video off with this article here posted by the Cryptic Poet. US Faster Payments Council publishes interoperability report. Guys, this coming from the US Faster Payments Council, the FPC, and in partnership with Glenbrook Partners, today they released a research report why interoperability is important for faster payments. The report is the latest part of the 3-year multifaceted industry study consisting of quantitative and qualitative research launched by the FPC and Glenbrook in 2019, published the last 2 years. The Faster Payments Barometer, an online survey of industry professionals, offered insight from businesses, financial institutions, customer organizations, and payment providers, resulting from both annual surveys indicating that industry stakeholders from across the value chain overwhelmingly believe interoperability is important for broader adoption of faster payments. And interoperability, guys, the thing that Ripple has been touting with their RippleNet software for any bank to be able to plug into and to be able to send anything of value over the XRP essentially instantaneously and at a fraction of the cost of what it costs today to send money cross borders. So interoperability has been a reoccurring theme across the FPC's work efforts and a hot topic within the industry at large in recent years. This coming from FPC Executive Director Reid Luutinen. Both the 2019 and 2020 Faster Payments Barometer studies showed more than 70% of stakeholders agree that faster payment system interoperability is important. And as a result, we decided to focus our latest qualitative research with Glenbrook on why interoperability is important to end users and providers alike in order to identify the best path forward to ubiquitous faster payments. So US payments obviously do need to be faster and interoperable, considering we are now emerging more so than ever in a global economy. And of course, I have to remind you guys, and for those of you guys who may have not caught this, Valente Technologies, who is a Ripple partner that has been confirmed, they are a global leader in cloud payments and financing messaging, announced back in February of 2021 their participation in a pilot program for the Federal Reserve's upcoming instant payment offering, the FedNow service, which is also going to be focusing on real-time interoperable payments using the ISO 20022 standard. So, big news there. They are seeing that, an overwhelming majority sees interoperability as very important. So I don't think that that is going to go unnoticed. I wanted to thank the Cryptic Poet for posting that. I also saw this guy's from Michael at Val5 Links. So this is just with regards to the changing landscape and cryptocurrency payments as a whole just being more accepted worldwide over the next 3 years. 50,000 EV charging stations across Europe will start accepting crypto payments. So this is with regards to electric vehicles. The partnership between Irish e-commerce and mobile payment solutions from HIPS, or HIPS, Payment Group Limited, and Verity, a Swedish firm that specializes in unattended payment facilities such as EV charging stations. That integration of crypto payments with charging stations will occur over the next 3 years, starting from November of 2021. The firms haven't revealed which cryptocurrencies will be supported yet, but Verity has dropped a pretty strong hint that Ethereum is likely going to be among the first after it released an image of the payment terminal with an Ethereum logo on it. Ethereum is moving to a much more energy-efficient proof-of-stake consensus mechanism in the next year, which could mitigate any backlash among environmentally conscious EV drivers. So here's a quote: "We are currently evaluating what cryptos and coins we will support. It will be converted to fiat," stated Hans Nottenhead, the CEO of Verity. So, not sure what cryptocurrencies will be accepted, although it does look like Ethereum is going to be one of those cryptocurrencies. But you got to think, with interoperability and advancements in those types of technologies, that one would likely be able to accept any type of cryptocurrency at these stations. Of course, there's not going to be one standard of cryptocurrency. If anything, more cryptocurrencies are going to exist. Of course, there will be lots of cryptocurrencies that also just kind of disappear by that point in time. But for the cryptocurrencies that are going to have real-world utility, I think that these types of improvements, advancements, innovations in the current landscape are going to have to reflect different types of payments. And of course, Europe, a very small continent made up of a lot of different countries, many of them standardized on the euro, but there are a lot of countries that use other currencies as well. And now entering cryptocurrencies into the mix, these terminals are likely going to have to be able to accept a wide range of different, not only currencies, but cryptocurrencies cryptocurrencies as well. That's just what I think. This guy's from XRP Crypto Wolf. Palestinian Monetary Authority eyes digital currency launch. So more CBDC advancements worldwide. The Palestinian Monetary Authority is studying the possible issuance of a digital currency, a move that would allow it to strike at least a symbolic blow for monetary independence from Israel. So they are using this as a socio-political tool. Under their 1990 accords with Israel, the Palestinians agreed not to immediately create their own currency, and their economy primarily uses the Israeli shekel along with the Jordanian dinar and the US dollar. But Palestinian banks are currently awash in shekels because of an Israeli law prohibiting large cash transactions meant to crack down on money laundering. Israel also limits how many shekels Palestinian banks can transfer back to Israel monthly. So this is problematic for Palestinians, and they just want to get onto a CBDC. So now they are studying cryptocurrencies. 2 studies on cryptocurrencies are underway and no decision has been made yet, but the hope is to eventually use digital currency for payment systems in our country and hopefully with Israel and others to use for actual payments. This coming from Palestinian Monetary Authority Governor Faraz Milhem, who was interviewed by Bloomberg Television. And so there's some talks with regards to Bitcoin, and how El Salvador is using Bitcoin as legal tender now. And, it's funny because some countries are totally on board with this whole Bitcoin narrative. Other countries, not so much. They want to develop a CBDC. They obviously are seeing where the world is going, where G7 countries are going with this. And so they want to, I think in a lot of ways, be considered a legitimate trading partner. And quite frankly, I don't think G7 countries necessarily have the most positive view on El Salvador's government right now because they are doing the Bitcoin thing. I mean, maybe that is up for debate. Tell me down in the comments if you guys have an opinion on that. So we have El Salvador using Bitcoin, and Athena confirms plans to bring 1,500 Bitcoin ATMs to El Salvador. So this coming from Michael at Val5 Links. U.S. company Athena intends to supply El Salvador's new crypto-based economy with 1,500 Bitcoin ATMs, a company representative has confirmed. The rollout will start small, trialing a few dozen machines to establish a business model. The Chicago headquartered firm plans to invest more than $1 million to install cryptocurrency ATMs, targeting regions where residents receive remittances from abroad. Along with installing the new machines, it will also hire staff and open an office to carry out operations in El Salvador. So Athena currently operates just 2 ATMs of this type, and now they are expanding it to 1,500 ATMs. Of course, since El Salvador has definitely confirmed that they will be accepting Bitcoin, this rollout does make sense. We also have more El Salvador news here. They are announcing an official digital wallet for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Another one from Michael here. So let me just read you guys this. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele revealed a new digital wallet for Bitcoin, saying that citizens will receive $30 after they download it. So El Salvador has announced that it will release an official digital wallet for BTC and other currencies, according to a local media report. This was just published a couple of days ago. The effort follows the approval of Bitcoin as legal tender in the country, which brought much attention to the Central American nation. The new wallet is called Chivo, and it will form the basis for everyday use of the currency. And so here is just a demonstration, a screen grab of what that is going to look like. President Nayib Bukele, who led the effort to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender, said during a conference the government would give $30 worth of Bitcoin after users download the app. In his statement, he also touted the benefits of using Bitcoin, such as remittances that can be made at any time of any day and disintermediation. The app will be available on both Android and iOS, and this Bitcoin law will come into effect on September 7th. So interesting developments for El Salvador. Of course, they had that whole mining rig that they said, would promote environmentally friendly Bitcoin mining. So that's also part of their plan. Could it work? I mean, it's an interesting experiment, but again, they do have to contend with the rest of the world. And, the IMF has already said, we do not like where this is going. We do not think these countries should be accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. I did a video just the other day where Benoit Cœuré from the BIS discussed the fact that Bitcoin just won't work. And I'll link that video up here if you guys didn't catch that. So a bit of a tug of war here. Despite that, El Salvador will offer free Bitcoin to millions of adult citizens. Guys, this coming from XRP Crypto Wolf. So yeah, okay, so this just goes on to that last story. $30 worth of Bitcoin to every adult citizen, President Nayib Bukele announced Friday during his live address. So, the $30, I'm assuming that's $30 American, for an El Salvadorian, I'm sure will go a long way. So just looking at some statistics here, guys, for El Salvador's salary, it's interesting because the average salary per year is about $41,557 US per year. However, the most typical salary, let me just close that, most typical salary is only about $7,000 USD per year. So interesting to see, the disparity between the rich and the poor in El Salvador. And, if you are one of those people who are only earning $7,000 per year, $30 in Bitcoin, well, that's a great incentive, isn't it? These guys are just doubling down, creating this infrastructure. It is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But meanwhile, 33% of institutional investors call Bitcoin rat poison, agreeing with Bitcoin critic Warren Buffett. So this coming from BondCrypt XRP, guys. The Bitcoin bull market that started earlier this year and culminated in a new all-time high at about 64,500 is said to be spurred by institutional investors. However, according to a survey by JP Morgan, these investors aren't as attracted to Bitcoin as some reports have portrayed. The survey found that a shocking 49% believe Bitcoin is a temporary fad or worse, so 50% almost. 1 in 3 respondents agreed with Bitcoin critic Warren Buffett that the crypto is rat poison. Institutional investors have indeed bought Bitcoin this year, from hedge funds and family offices to billionaires and global firms looking to diversify their assets. However, the survey by JP Morgan shows that the interest by these investors may not have been as widespread as initially thought. The American Bank conducted the survey at its 24th Macro Quantitative and Derivatives Conference. So here are just some statistics with regards to that. Interesting to see how sentiment is changing, seemingly on a dime. Just a couple of months ago, right? We were seeing Bitcoin rally and rally and rally to new all-time highs. Now we are seeing this dip, retracing back in this level of support here, dipping below that $30,000 level. And, people are getting quite nervous. It is no secret. I mean, the sentiment in the market is getting a little bit better. Right now we're at 27. So now, it's a little better than it was a few days ago when we were in extreme fear. And, especially even when we were under the 20s, extreme fear. This, of course, was when the market was just kind of caving in on itself. Now we have Bitcoin rallying a little bit, so people are not as afraid. But this narrative, right, it is changing on a dime. And, countries like El Salvador, of course, are pushing this forward. I don't know how that's going to work for the people. I mean, considering how volatile Bitcoin is. Is the government going to be transparent? Are they going to educate the public and say, look, if you do own Bitcoin, buy low, sell high, essentially? Or are they just going to leave it up to their people to deal with it on their own? This could be really, really innovative and really, really prosperous for the people of El Salvador, or it could be a huge disaster. If you guys have an opinion on that, tell me down in the comments what you guys think. Whale alert here, guys, also posting that over 125 million XRP have been transferred to an unknown wallet. So we are also seeing more XRP moving from wallet to wallet. And guys, you know what? Despite what's going on in El Salvador with, the laser eyes movement, the diamond hands, all that jazz, we do have real world utility that is going to be coming down the pipe once we get that regulatory clarity. Of course, Ripple in court currently, but that's not going to be the case forever. We will likely see a pump in XRP price once we get that clarity. Of course, that will be still speculative. That will be FOMO reacting to the announcement. But at the end of the day, you got to look at all the partnerships. You got to look at what's really going on in the space. I wanted to bring up this clip, guys, that I saw with Mike Green on the Anthony Pompliano podcast. Now, of course, Anthony Pompliano, a Bitcoin proponent. I'm going to play this clip for you guys, brought to us by Real XRP Boy. But first, I wanted to mention this, guys, with regards to Mike Green from 4 months ago. FUD from Mike Green and his cryptic message, okay? This is somebody posting on a Reddit board. 2021 is going to be the year in which we discover that what we think Bitcoin is actually not what Bitcoin is. Or rather, let me just read it how he wrote it. What we think is Bitcoin is actually not Bitcoin. Mike Green is salty and likes to sprinkle his salty FUD in every interview. Here's a quote. One of the underlying features of Bitcoin is this idea that it has survived. I don't think that's true. I actually think 2021 is going to be the year in which that we discover that what we think is today Bitcoin is actually not Bitcoin. I know that sounds cryptic and I'm not prepared to reveal a lot of work that I've done in this area, but I do think that the general theory that Bitcoin is going to evade the response from the US government for long enough for it to become established is misplaced. So throwing a little bit of FUD or shade, I suppose, towards Bitcoin. But, you know, for Bitcoin proponents, for Bitcoin maximalists, of course, this sounds negative. Let me bring you guys this clip, this interview with Anthony Pompliano. This is Mike Green here. Listen to this.
Interpretation of the facts. You know, I find it interesting that it is almost impossible for Anthony and others involved in this space to not make the appeal to authority, right? Mark Cuban is doing it. Elon Musk is doing it, right? I'm encouraging people to think for yourselves, right? And ask yourself, really, is there a 1% chance that the US government is going to choose to give up its access and its control of the monetary system to embrace Bitcoin as a reserve asset, given that, as I described and Pomp was unable to refute, $7 billion per year could turn this system into a, smoldering heap of garbage, right? It's not hard to do. The fact that they haven't done it yet should be warning you that they have something else planned, right? This is not difficult. And nobody has been able to come back and say, well, here's the reason why that can't happen, right? This is a system that is designed to appeal to people's economic interests.
So he ends off there by saying, to Bitcoin proponents, it should be a signal to you guys that the US government hasn't done it yet, and that they likely have something else planned. And I got to come back to this because Bitcoin is still part of this narrative. With Bitcoin being up here in the original Castle Riddle from Bearable Guy from way back in 2018, we got the US dollar over here to the right, XRP right here on top, Bitcoin and the USD clearly battling it out, but XRP very poised to be that intermediary for interoperable payments, as per the US Faster Payments Task Force, and we know Fedwire, Valente Technologies running on Ripple. I didn't think I'd ever see countries adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, but guys, it is becoming clearer and clearer that Bitcoin is not going to be the answer. The government would have adopted it already. The USD is also in trouble in many ways, and central bank digital currencies also going to be part of this financial system. So will XRP be bridging the $5.1 trillion that moves every day? I don't doubt that it's definitely going to have a part in the new financial system, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.